So I first got involved in the West Bonner County School District business by accident. It was kind of dumped on me. My background, some of which includes investigations, caused me to question some of the things I was hearing from one of my neighbors who had come to me, and during the course of a conversation, she had indicated that she had not graduated this particular year, and as planned, as she had voted no for the levy. And at that time, the teacher that she had told her if she voted for the levy, she would get extra credit. And when she was asked how she voted and told the teacher she had voted no for the levy, he took the credit from her. Well, I was a bit enraged. I didn't express it to her, but I started doing some digging. And with that came one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. It's been about 2 years. I have a lot more to look at, but it's been about 2 years of finding out bits and pieces, talking to people, talking to office staff, et cetera, and I mean office staff in the district office. Recently, I have had an opportunity to speak with Jackie Branham, which was our hired superintendent that I feel upon the investigation I've done was bullied and pushed out of her superintendent's position with West Bonner County School District, mostly by office staff at the district, as well as a few teachers and possibly principals. I'm going to read to you some emails that came from Jackie Branham. I have her permission to do so. I have spoke to her last night and explained to her that I was going to do a no-holds-bar communication of these emails, and she told me to go for it. So I'm reading this from her, and these are her words. Highlighted is a text that I had sent a while back. After such, I added information that was included in my Why I Left document that supports and explains my text. Personnel, 80 to 85% of district budget. This is the who initiates the 5-year plan. It should remain as a separate entity. The 5-year plan defines the what, when, and how things will be done to improve the system. Approximately 20% of the budget should be divided amongst the 6 pillars that clearly depict how the money is spent. If you add in costs of personnel into the 5-year plan, it convolutes everything and destroys the whole design and reasoning. Transparency. Now, I want to interject here that I've given you a copy of the 6 pillars, and I've also given you a copy of the 5-year plan. Excerpts from Why I Left. As if things could not get worse, the district business manager, Steffi Pavey, who has been hired the year before, was busy preparing for an upcoming financial audit. She came to me and explained that she did not feel she was properly trained by the previous administration and that she was struggling. I arranged for the Chief Financial Officer, Lisa Halls, at our neighboring district of Sandpoint to come and help. What she found was an indescribable financial mess. It took her hours and days of helping Steffi prepare for the auditors. Lisa reported that the audit would be months late. Without the work that she would need to get done, the auditors wouldn't even touch it. Soon, we also had to hire Sandpoint's retired bookkeeper to assist. Both persons have been training and assisting Steffi up to my recent resignation. The audit was 3 months overdue, and I did not have a working budget as a superintendent up until late in the month of January. Over 7 months with no budget is unheard of for any superintendent and made my position very difficult. After the auditors arrived and mid through their work, they asked to have a meeting with me. Here they asked me some very strange questions, inclusive of how many years as a school superintendent I had, and if I had any reason at all for suspecting suspicious activity in the bookkeeping, excuse me. of West Bonner County School District. I explained that as this is my first few months in the district and not having any purview to the books, I was unable to answer the question about suspicious activity. They then explained that they felt that Steffi was, in their opinion, and due to her lack of experience in school accounting methods, ill-fitted for the position. Further, that it was clear that the business manager that had been taking some very serious shortcuts in accounting procedures, and that, because of her lack of experience, Steffi was pretty much playing the monkey see, monkey do, which created quite a mess. Soon thereafter, the auditors held a meeting with myself, the board chair, Margaret Hall, and vice chair, Keith Rutledge, explaining their concerns over Steffi's lack of knowledge and background for her position, and clearly insinuated that we might be wise to find someone else for the job. Chair Hall made it clear to me that she felt strongly about keeping Stephanie on board. Understanding that Sandpoint had been advertising for a new business manager due to Lisa's upcoming retirement, and that they had no qualified applicants after several months, we decided to carry on with Steffi. It has cost the district tens of thousands of dollars to train her, and Lisa was still assisting her up and until the time of my resignation. Now, speaking of school finance, my frustration grew during my work in developing the district's 5-year strategic plan. The plan was strategically based around the 6 pillars needed for comprehensive systematic reform. Understanding that 80 to 85% of the district budget is typically spent on personnel, and after learning from Lisa Halls that only approximately 72% was being utilized to run West Bonner County School District, I felt I had a very strong case for examining the percentage difference by bringing the classified salary matrix up to a starting wage of $15 per hour, as it was clear that the district was suffering difficulties due to the extremely low wage offered to classified employees. I directed Steffi to show me the classified matrix total cost in doing so. Later, she reported that if she did this, it would mean that they would receive a 15% increase in pay. This seemed shocking to her. I didn't care, due to the fact that certified had been giving a healthy 8% increase for the current year, and classified staff received none. What was shocking to me was the pathetic current rate of classified pay, and continued to ask Steffi how the increase would affect the total percentage of the personnel costs. I wanted this information so that I knew what I would or would not be able to have left to play with for negotiating later with certified staff. In my mind, once I got the personnel balanced out and distributed fairly among the certified and classified staff of 80 to 85%, I could then reasonably target the 15 to 20% balance among the 6 pillars of the 5-year plan and bring total transparency to all expenditures. I explained this goal over and over and over to Steffi, and each time she came back with the 15% increase on all matrix adjustments, certified and classified. This is not what I wanted, and I kept reiterating it to her over and over again. Unfortunately, my time with the district was running out, and before the last budget work session I attended with the board, and under Steffi's lead, I learned that she had spent the entire Saturday prior with Trustee Margaret Hall at the district office. Together, they planned what would be presented to the board. It was not at all what I had requested. Trustee Hall had no business acting in my capacity as superintendent, and Steffi failed at providing the information I wanted in her presentation. The next day, I turned in my resignation, not only for these reasons, but for many others that I explained to the board in executive session. Unfortunately, they did not support my my recommendations. See why I left document. In addition, 2021 negotiated raises. Before my entrance, former Superintendent Paul Insomno left a document with Steffi Pavey recommending an 8% increase for administrative staff. This was the same that was issued to certified staff. This document recommendation was presented to the board during one of the very first, if not the first, board meetings I had attended as the new superintendent. The board had accepted the recommendation without hesitation. Not knowing any better, I was surprised and thought the district must be rich. Later, I asked Steffi why the classified staff had not been issued raises, as I noted the dismal classified pay. She said that was the fault of Joe Cavashan, then the transportation director. Further, that it was his duty to come to the table as the department head for his bus drivers, but he failed to do so. After meeting Joe, I quickly understood that this would be something that he would not have even thought to do. I pondered as to why she would at the time say this to me in light that he had nothing to do with custodial staff, paraprofessionals, and other support staff. Another note, during one of the last leadership meetings that I had with the building principals, the discussion of my request for Mr. George and Mrs. Williams to form a joint committee to include parents to address school policies for dress code, cell phone use, and bullying was held. Also in attendance was Libby Barrett, capacity builder, who was assigned by the state through the University of Idaho to assist the high school to develop a plan for improvement. During such discussions, both Mr. George and Mrs. Williams tried to convince me that it was the norm for middle school age girls to send naked pictures of themselves to boys. They made it clear that this was not an unusual happening within the school. I was shocked and told them that it was not normal and that it should not ever become normal. The discussion became so emotional that both myself and Mrs. Barrett were brought to tears. I had to excuse myself for a moment to regain my composure. Upon my return, I told the principals that I felt that they had become desensitized to determine right from wrong, and that I felt that I had been thrust into a world unknown to me since my retirement 9 years prior to entering the West Bonner County School District. At this point, I realized why Mr. George was so incompetent in handling the situation that occurred within his school the year prior to my hire. This involved a female high school teacher engaging in a sexual relationship with a young high school male student. I was shocked to learn that neither the superintendent nor the superintendent Insomno nor Principal George contacted legal authorities upon first word of such an incident. It is a well-known fact that upon accusation of a school employee involved in any such act should be immediately removed from the school on leave with pay until full investigation concludes. It was egregious that both administrators allowed the situation to remain quiet for days before involving legal authorities.
Help independent journalism thrive. If you enjoyed this content, help with a donation through Cash App at North Idaho Exposed or on Venmo, North Idaho Exposed. Thank you.